Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Epic 7, and today we're going over the new notes that just went live. We just watched the stream. First off, the code is Daltoki, which I think means Moon Bunny, question mark, which is a spoiler alert for something that is coming up. And let's just take a look here. We have update summary, chapter 4, East Prairie. We have Moon Bunny Dominial. By the way, as always, link description down there below to download Epic 7 on BlueStacks 5, Ancient Inheritance Season 3, and the August Balance Adjustment. So as you can see, this is a very repetitive video because pretty much not much has changed since what we already knew. That said, there is one balance patch that was changed, and that was Ervalin. He did get a little bit of a change, and his trash change was reverted. So let's just take a look here at the Dominial. Okay, here we go.
What do you want?
DD Magnahall.
Clothes made by a fairy?
I like it.
Maybe a coral accessory from the underwater palace.
Like it too.
If that's not it, are you here for my liver? Let me see how lucky you really are. You weren't that.
Okay, a couple things going on. Number one, I'm guessing that has something weird to do with the lore behind moon bunnies or something. I have no idea. Number two, she got 3 fingers. I don't know. I think that's kind of weird. Maybe that's not, but 3 fingers and a thumb.
That bad. Why don't you try harder?
Moon Bunny Dominial.
So she has some insane art. Absolute insane heart. Like, look how cool this is.
She's actually a descendant of the Moon Bunny tribe.
How happy she is.
Long disappeared from Orbis.
Look at the
She's a
bunnies.
fortune teller who has the ability to divine the future. The
Such
Moon
great
Bunny
art,
tribe
too.
Foresaw that the moonlight would soon disappear. To stop that from happening,
Look at her run. I want to see her
Dominial
sit.
came down to Orbis and is searching for the legendary moonlight infused gem.
Okay, so let's take a look at abilities after. I want to take a look at how she sits. Okay, so here's her animation again.
Let me see.
A leader of a gigantic
That's so cool.
merchant guild who has the gift of divining the future. Players will be able to meet Moon Bunny Dominial.
Oh,
starting
she's crushing
August
herbs or
11th.
something? Oh,
Thank
nope,
you.
that wasn't herbs. What is that? Somebody tell me what that is. It's gooey, that's for sure. Okay, let's go back to this here and see what's up and take a look at her skills. So she is a Soul Weaver, so that means she's going to heal, right? Nope. Soul Weaver does not mean they're going to heal. It means they're generally going to support usually or work with soul weaving like stuff. She's also a 4-star, so you can select to summon her, or you can just wait and randomly pick her up through Galaxy Bookmarks, which is what I'm likely going to have to do. Yeah, and here are her stats. Moon Bunny Dominial. I really like her design. She's super cute. Her hair is just perfection, like absolute perfection. Self imprint is health, and that kind of makes sense. Kind of wish it was effect resistance, maybe not. I'm not quite sure yet what I would prefer. But she has a base 50% ER, right? 50% effect resist ER, which means she's gonna have some ER in her passive, which means she also has a passive. 15 crit chance, no attack, no HP. That's really low, 4,500 and 630 defense and 114 speed. So obviously speed is fantastic, but pretty much everything else is trash except for the effect resistance, which is insane. So we then have flow control. This is her passive here and basically why you would use her. She has at the start of an enemy's turn, grants immunity and barrier to all allies for 2 turns. Barrier strength proportionate to the caster's max health, so maybe that makes her self-imprint a little bit better. And immunity and barrier effects can only be activated once every 2 turns and only activated when the enemy is a hero. So, again, we kind of kill PvE because fuck PvE, basically. Sorry, I shouldn't I shouldn't swear on this channel, Mango. Number 2, it's a real counter to extra turn units, and it's a pretty big barrier to, I'm imagining, but I guess we'll see. The other thing to mention is this does not dispel, so if you are playing versus a Piera, for example, she's just gonna buff block everybody, and then all your barrier or all your immunity and barrier is gone, and you're in trouble still, right? If you're against Ran, you definitely have a much better time because Ran goes, does all the debuffs. Actually, no, Ran doesn't even go first. Does this still just counter Ran? It does, right? It does, right? Let me just double check. I actually just started using Ran again, so you know, let's go read his skills just to make sure. I'm pretty sure this just gets countered by Ran still too. Doesn't that get countered by two of the people you would want at first? Granted, Conqueror Lilius, yes, that is fantastic versus Conqueror Lilius. But if we take a look at, let's take a look at Soul Weaver. No, not Soul Weaver. Let's take a look at Thief here and Piera. So Piera is going to start off with her Punishing Blade. It's going to restrict, unable to be buffed, then get her an extra turn. And then you're going to be unable to be buffed already, and nothing's going to happen with her passive. Granted, she will probably gain immunity and a barrier because she has the effect resistance. But not really gonna matter, right? That's not what you're trying to protect. And number two, if we look at Ran here, Ran's gonna start off with this, which gives immunity and attack buff. Then she's gonna buff herself with barrier and immunity, and then Ran is going to skill 3, which dispels 2 buffs first with an 80% chance to inflict all of these things. Also, you can ignore the ER, so it will hit her as well with that. And then you're still decreased defense and you're still stigma'd. Kind of interesting. I'm kind of interested by that. I thought she'd at least help counter one of the two, and she probably will, don't get me wrong. Just not as much as I thought. Let me know in the comments down there below how that's going to turn out in RTA, because obviously she's an RTA unit. That's not my specialty, but I can only guess, right? And of course, for Conqueror Lilius, it's exactly what you want, right? Decreases buff duration on all enemies and has a 75% chance to decrease defense, gets an extra turn. So she's going to go after that, give your team immunity and a barrier after that, and protect themselves, right? Like, that's kind of the idea behind it. So let's take a look back at these here. So that's her skill 2, and once every 2 turns, of course, which is pretty impressive because she's going to be really fast as well, right? We then have Moonlight Wave, which is her skill 1. This is her skill 1. Actually, it looks like I forgot to paste in the skill 2, so we'll go back to the movie on that. But her skill 1 is a 60% chance to sleep for 1 turn that doesn't consume a dual attack, and is 100% effect chance on Soulburn. I'm going to mention this because I mention it every single time, but increasing chance to 100% is really unfortunate when you're using a no effective unit, because it's just going to get resisted most of the time. So I just have to mention that. It would be really nice if they made these ignore ER as well, but maybe that'll be too strong for RTA. I'm not quite sure. So let's take a look back here at the video, and we'll go to her skill 2 or skill 3 here. So her skill 3 is not that. Her skill 3 is Moon Bunny Dominial's Divination, and this is in accordance with the divinations, increases the attack of all allies for 2 turns. Again, I feel like so many units have this, it's ridiculous. And boosts the CR by 20% after Mullahs, and you're gonna have this Mullah'd. And then grants skill nullifier just to the caster for 1 turn. So AoE attack buff, AoE combat readiness boost, and then nullifier to yourself to help protect herself. And she's gonna need to protect herself, of course, because she has 4,500 or something health. So let's go back to this here, and there's a couple more things. We'll talk about Ervalin as well. We then have the August balance changes. I've already done a video on this. All of these, I believe, are the same except for Ervalin, which is being changed like this. So they're reverting their recent change, which was just atrocious, and doing this instead. Basically, they're making the Soulburn of his skill 2 do more damage, and they're also making his skill 3, if he kills a unit, give himself an extra turn and extend his buffs, which is obviously going to be the counterattack buff. So this makes a lot of sense, and it might make him a 1-2 punch sort of thing, right? Because his skill 3 very often just killed people anyway, right? And he's also going to do more damage as it is. And then you have your skill 2 to take out another unit. And of course, it's only 10 soul burn, which is pretty insane for increased damage dealt on a non-skill 1. So this is a pretty good change. I'm not sure how much it will affect anything. I'm obviously going to give it a try. More damage, basically, more buffs, longer buffs. Actually, not really longer buffs because you're taking an extra turn. Just more damage and more control, basically. We then have drop rate up for Flan. We have drop rate up for Bologna as well that I forgot to take the picture of. And we have drop rate up for Touch of Rekos. And we have Mystic Summon rotation for DJB, Best Boy-ish, Silverblade Araminta, Best Girl, and then Fallen Cecilia for boobs. And then we have Ancient Inheritance Season 3, which is starting on Monday. And they didn't say anything about this, so I have no idea what's going to happen with it. There's going to be learn more about the schedule in the announcement of Stove. And boobs. I didn't mean to post that one. That's from a leftover backup. This is probably from a thumbnail because, you know, pretty good thumbnail. Yeah, so that's everything today. We did get Moon Bunny Dominiel, who looks super sweet. I think she's going to be good. I just am kind of confused as to why they didn't make her help counter the overpowered units better, right? Because if you make a situation like that where it specifically counters extra turns, you're very specifically targeting a small amount of units. And those units are extremely oppressive. So the fact that it doesn't actually fully wall them is kind of worrying to me. Maybe it's enough. I guess we'll see. And yeah, that's about all I have to say. So thank you so much for watching. Download Epic 7 in the description below for free on Android and iOS. Nope, for free on BlueStacks 5. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everybody.